Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we broadcast 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, right here on GCN. And if you'd like to find your instructors, there's a link on the website, USAPrepares.com, USAPrepares.com. And if you'd like to call us, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. John is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. And I'm delighted to welcome Dane Wigington, geoengineeringwatch.org, geoengineeringwatch.org. Welcome, Dane.
Good morning, Vincent.
Dane,
in the asylum, huh?
Wow. Yeah. Welcome to the asylum. It's absolutely in every respect. And today we're specifically talking about the ward of the asylum, that is killing us by engineering our environment. It's unbelievable. Dane, I mentioned to, several of our instructors over this year, and I'd say, yeah, every once in a while, Dane will call me and say, just call to see if you're still alive. Oh man, this is quite a struggle we're in, and let me start with this, Dane. Back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, I would say to our neighbors, have you noticed that the weather changes? There's a NASA launch, and 3 days later, the weather gets nuts. And they go, no, it's always been like that. I go, are you kidding? 3 days after the last launch, there was 7 inches of rain flooding the Garden State Parkway. The news said, cars and trucks were stranded because they couldn't move because there was 7 inches of rain that came down like very, very quickly. And that's not the kind of thing that I don't ever remember, prior to these launches. So I believe that the space launches have changed our weather, and it was always 3 days later. Now, of course, we see the chemical trails in the sky, and we look up and we see planes doing U-turns. We see crisscrossing. We see crosshatch patterns, and people are complaining of respiratory distress. They're complaining that their memories aren't what they used to be. They're really forgetful. They repeat things. They ask the same questions over and over. And I believe this is all part of the toxins all around us. And one of them is coming from, or many of them are coming from the air. What do you think, Dane?
Well, this has been our position for many years, and this is the point and purpose of the website geoengineeringwatch.org. And data we try to disseminate is now corroborated with peer-reviewed study. So let's look at the bees. Vincent, I'm not sure when the last time we've talked, but the bees that are collapsing around the globe, that the mainstream sources are trying to pin on farm chemicals, which are certainly harmful, but we're seeing the bees collapse, and this has been our position, 1,000 miles into the wilderness. We've tried to communicate with the beekeepers. We've tried to explain there's a bigger issue. They, of course, being trained in academia and really locked into a certain mindset that doesn't give them or allow them to really look at the big picture. We now have peer-reviewed study that the bees are dying of Alzheimer's and dementia-like symptoms. And they have, in many cases, 70 times more aluminum in them than what it would take to cause those symptoms in a human being. We have studies on whales from the most remote places on the planet, packed with aluminum. How much data do we need? I'll be publishing later today, Vincent, a 750-page congressional document that outlines so many details with the national and global weather mod programs, climate modification programs, including the need for complete immunity for all those involved in these programs, immunity from liability, from the destruction they're causing. It's all outlined in this document. This is from 1978. This adds to a document from 1966 that I found previously in the NASA archives. How much information do we need to know these programs are going on? And even this document speaks about that these programs would supersede hostilities with otherwise opposing countries. So in other words, even countries that appear to be in conflict, like the U.S. and Russia, would cooperate on this issue. And anyway, I hope people take a look. At least we have some excerpts out of that, so you don't have to trudge through the whole thing. You get an idea what it's about. But bottom line is we're under siege, all of us under siege. If we can't breathe without sucking this stuff in, it's causing, as we talked off the air, radical fungal proliferation from soils to trees to other organisms. What we're seeing, 70 to 80% of the species die-off right now, which is approaching 300 a day, is fungally related. You kill off the beneficial organisms, fungus ensues. From every direction, Vincent, geoengineering is sucking the noose around our necks.
Dane,
destruction of our weather and everything else.
Well, let's share. You and I had a chat for maybe 2 minutes before this broadcast this morning, and I mentioned to you that I was on the phone with one of our instructors. His name is Joey, out of Michigan, and Joe and I were talking last night, and he mentioned this white mold, and I said, "Wow, we have it too." And so we have this barn. It's 40 feet wide, 120 feet long. We put it up about a year ago. What we did was we scraped the grass off the area where we're going to put the barn. We leveled the dirt, and we put a footer in. And so we have these concrete walls around the barn. And we open the barn during the day and let the air blow through it. And it's 2 doors, one in the front, one in the back. So the air blows through it. And then we close them at night to keep the moisture out. And what we have is on the floor, it's almost like someone took a spray gun and sprayed a light coating of white mold on the dirt inside the barn. Now, what I don't understand is there are areas in the barn where the sun shines, when it shines right on the dirt floor. There's mold there. There's mold where the sun doesn't shine. There's mold underneath the vehicles and the tractors and the equipment. So there's mold everywhere. And I've never seen this before. And we don't have mold, in our house, but we do have it in this barn. And I have a feeling that it came from the sky. I really do. And Joey said he's got it too. And he's never had it before. And he's in Michigan and I'm in Missouri. So it's not like we're neighbors. What do you think?
When you fill the atmosphere with particulates, it's a platform on which fungal growth can proliferate. When you saturate the soils and the entire web of life with the same particulates which kill beneficial microorganisms, fungal growth ensues. The same with putting antibiotics in the human body. So it's not just in the environment, it's in us. And now we have institutions like the Mayo Clinic telling us that, for example, 90 to 95% of all chronic sinusitis, which is epidemic now, and chronic lung infections are fungally related. So again, I'm not focused on climate engineering because it's something I wanted to do, or the geoengineering, which is really weather warfare, which is really biological warfare. You cannot separate those subjects. They're all intertwined. So the reason I'm focused on this, Vincent, is because this is simply a priority that we must face. And many people hear about this subject and they think, well, it's one more thing to add to their list of things we need to deal with. This is the issue we have to face. Quite simply, we have to face it or we're not going to be around long. And that's a fact. It's not just what it's doing to our health, Vincent. It's the health of the biosphere, which is imploding, absolutely imploding right now. You asked me off the air if we're past the point of no return. Mathematically speaking, there's absolutely no question. We will never know the planet we have known in any time frame that matters. Equilibrium periods after previous events that weren't as bad as this, that were natural and that took place over a much longer duration, equilibrium periods that were still 10 to 20 million years. What's happening now is happening at a pace never before seen on the planet. And the climate engineering is a massive part of that. It's not the only part, but it's the single greatest aspect in the equation. And again, anthropogenic damage as a whole, and people need to face this fact if we're to have any credibility in this battle. We've completely decimated our planet in too many ways to even begin to go into. But climate engineering, the epitome of that decimation.
You know, Dane, if you just look at how ignorant we are, how careless we are, how we don't think forward enough. We dump our trash in the oceans. And then we go, well, you know, hey, that's a great place. We can go mine that, all that plastic, that island that's floating, that's the size of a state within the United States. And this great big island of plastic floating in the ocean. We can go mine that. That's a resource. How idiotic it is to dump it in the ocean and then say it's a resource. It costs so much more. Why don't we take care of the problem? You know, first of all, why don't we produce less trash? Why don't we use recyclable packaging? Why don't we use less packaging? Why don't we avoid packaging on lots of our items? But we don't do that. We let individual greed of these marketeers and these corporations make these products. We should stop them by voting with our wallets. I'm really frustrated because I can't see enough Americans getting together to stop these problems. You know, we're willing to let others do it. We'll let others fight it. You know, we don't have to fight it. We don't even have to think about it. It's too hard to think about it.
That's been the attitude. There's no question about that, and it's certainly troubling. But we're at the point now where the attempt to ram your head in the sand is not going to work anymore. The walls are closing in now. Again, as we mentioned off the phone, marine ecosystem collapse on the entire North American West Coast, tapping around the Gulf states as well. The ocean dead zones. We're not going to be eating fish much longer, and shouldn't be eating it now anyway. It's completely contaminated and from multiple sources. But the bottom line is this is a non-linear equation. Those that think they can hide from this because, again, the big chain stores are still open and they can buy fast food wherever they want, we're in for a paradigm shift. It's already underway. We have about 30-plus countries around the globe descending into chaos as we speak right now. Our biosphere has been contaminated from top to bottom, continues every day, and this will go into more after the break.
Yeah. Dane, I said to Mrs. Finelli, we were in the truck over the weekend heading out to and back from St. Louis, and I said, you know, I don't even want to go out anymore. I just don't want to do it. It's too risky for so many reasons. And just look at the skies. Class, just look up. Look whenever you want. Just look up. You'll see it. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then, too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to dollardownfall.com. Again, that's dollardownfall.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class Dane Wigington's with us. Geoengineeringwatch.org. We're talking about biological warfare. We're talking about weather warfare. We're talking about fungus. We're talking about bee colony collapse. Dane, right across the road from us, there's a farm where I kind of monitor two beehives. One of them is doing okay. The other has collapsed. I don't see any reason for it. I really don't see any reason for it. There's plenty for them to eat. There's fresh water there. There's wood surrounding. If they can get cool if they want. They can go wherever they want. It's the nearest house is half a mile away. They have everything they need, and they're not doing too well. We have spraying over our skies, like not every day, but almost every day. Literally almost every day. And I'm thinking that how could this not be the greatest of crimes? How could this not be the greatest of crimes? What do you think?
It is. This is the greatest and most immediate threat we face. This is why I'm focused on this issue. Again, for those that feel this is just going to go away, they're in for a rude awakening. And as I mentioned before the break, the nonlinear nature of this equation, the problem's not off on the horizon somewhere. It's kicking the door in right now. And the damage that's been done to us in the biosphere is in most ways irreparable. We can still salvage what's left if people rose to the occasion, and we need them to rise to the occasion. People ask, I deliver what people would consider a doom and gloom message, but it's simply reality. Reality is what it is, and trying to candy coat it doesn't change it. But if people got off the bench and helped us to bring this issue to light credibly, and that's important. You can't just look at a headline and run out and try to repeat it to people and jump up and down and point at the sky. And you have to have something credible to pass on to people, or the defenses just go up and they don't want to hear anything you have to say. So, again, the basic building blocks are, yes, these people are playing, those in power are playing God with the weather. This document I'll be posting in a few hours is yet more proof of that fact, that they felt they had the right to manipulate Earth's life support systems, which, by the way, as I was going to mention before the break, an example that paints a clear picture is a basketball, or the Earth, the atmosphere, is as thin as a layer of paint on a basketball. And it puts into perspective just how small the layer is that allows us to live on this planet, this rock, in a hostile environment of space. A layer of paint on a basketball. And we're destroying that right now. We're not going to be around long. And those that doubt this, and I know a lot of people roll their eyes and walk away because they see things on Bloomberg, Vincent, and all these financial channels that this is going to happen in 20 years and 40 years and 50 years. It's complete fantasy. People have seen too many science fiction movies that make them believe that technology will always fix everything. Technology's fixed everything so far, so well, that we face on this trajectory certain near-term total global extinction. That's the track we're on. The statistics back up what I'm saying, by the way. We've lost nearly 60% of Earth's wildlife populations in the last 40 years, conservatively. Graph that out, and it's getting worse by the day. That's not a pretty picture. So insect populations, not just bees. In Northern California, where we've checked with Forest Service biologists, 90% decline in 10 years, 90%. If the bugs die, how long are we going to be around?
Well, it's not just that. It's around here. Where are the squirrels? Where are the birds? Where are the mice? Where are the chipmunks? Where are the skunks? Where are the armadillo? There's so many animals that have disappeared. And the thing is, when they disappear, you don't notice them. When they, if they were to appear out of nowhere, you'd say, wow, what caused that? But when they disappear, over time, it's not as noticeable. But
correct.
But they're disappearing. And for the first time this year, we've seen, some deer on our property. Not as many as we used to have, but, we see some. But what I'm saying is there are fewer of them too. There are fewer of all of these wild animals. And Dane, here's something that it is kind of upsetting. How many families have someone in them with Alzheimer's symptoms? I would say every family. Now, it used to be that would be rare. It used to be that cancer was rare. Now, cancer's in every family. Alzheimer's is in every family. People are getting really forgetful. And I believe that what you're talking about with the manipulation of the climate, this biological warfare that we're talking about, this weather warfare is all part of it. We'll be right back.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of colors and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
I am a 47-year-old female and had a heart attack in 2005. This is Alice from New Jersey. I still get angina, even with 4 stents. I was taking nitro 2 or 3 times a week. The very first day after taking Heart and Body Extract, the chest pain was gone. Now I don't wear a nitro patch.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Dane Wigington's with us, geoengineeringwatch.org. I met with a group that was thinking about submitting bills to the Missouri State House of Representatives. And one of the bills that I wanted to have presented was that no government employee shall be immune from prosecution. None. And it was just a one-sentence bill. And I was told by the guy who reviews, the chief of the department that reviews bills for constitutionality, said, well, it'll never happen. It's just too simple. It's not enough words in it. It's really simple to me. No government employee shall be immune from prosecution. And what you said, Dane Wigington, was that these guys who are spraying our skies with weapons of biological and weather warfare have complete immunity for their participation. Did I hear that right?
That's what the document states. And again, I welcome anybody to review this document. The full-length PDF will be posted in the article. It's again 749 pages, I believe, and that adds to the list of documents we already have. So, yes, this is how the system operates. They operate with complete impunity to anything they do. And for those that don't yet get the gravity of what we're facing, Vincent, the economic collapse and everything else, it's all related, because there is no economy without enough resources. You can print all the money you want. If there's not enough fish in the sea to eat, if crops are crashing around the globe, and they are, as we talked off the air, Mongolia has recently lost 80% of their crops. 80. It's happening around the globe, and that's the bottom line. There is no economy without resources. Economy is an illusion of printed money. And the walls are closing in right now. You know that. You see this maneuvering for the final conflict as we speak. When there's not enough resources to go around, it's going to hit the fan. And we're about there. And they're trying from every angle to hide what's unfolding, to hide the fact the atmosphere is filling with methane right now. We talked about the atmosphere before the break. It's filling with methane. We're seeing everything we would expect to see with that occurring. We're seeing gassing from the seabed. The oceans are astronomically warm, and it's getting worse by the day. that releases formerly frozen methane, which we've talked about before. Bermuda Triangle, that's been happening for many decades. That's methane release. The ship sinkings are from methane release that aerates the water. Methane hits the surface, goes into the atmosphere, creates even more heating because methane is exponentially more powerful a greenhouse gas than CO2. Methane's the real monster we face. And we're seeing nighttime low temperatures rising twice as fast as daytime highs right now. To give you an idea how hot it is, Vincent, it was 108 degrees 3 days ago in Southern California in Camarillo. Broke the all-time record rate, not the record for that day. The all-time record was shattered by 6-7 degrees. 108 in mid-October. We're 100 degrees in Northern California right now every day. We're 75, 80 at night. And for those on the East Coast to think this can't be, I challenge you. Search engineered cool down of Eastern U.S. Search that term, and you'll find a half a dozen articles I've done to show the most anomalously cold place in the entire world is the eastern half of the U.S. lower 48. How could that be? It's a big, giant blue spot on an otherwise red planet. Siberia is having a second spring right now. Flowers blooming in Siberia should be frozen solid. People in the eastern U.S. have been subjected to radical and repeated engineered cool downs, jet stream manipulation, a lot of moisture that should have fallen in California. The West Coast goes to the East Coast, which they can chemically nucleate, cool things down on the ground. They're simply trying to hide for the majority of U.S. population, which live in the East Coast, the fact that the climate system is disintegrating. And I simply challenge people, look past your own doorstep. Don't think because conditions are a certain way where you're at, that that's the case for the whole world. So they're from the economic conditions, which is clearly a card house of a facade, to the biosphere conditions, the power structure is doing everything they can to hide the severity of what's unfolding till the last possible second.
I talked with one of our instructors in Europe, and he said that they're expecting snow within a couple days. And if you look at some of the weather forecasts for the United States, we're looking at snow this week in the eastern part of the United States. Snow.
I saw it. You know, again, they can chemically nucleate snow at temperatures up to 50 degrees and above. We have the patents to prove it. We have the conditions in other parts of the world to prove it. They've made it snow in places that hasn't ever snowed in 2,500 years of recorded history because they can chemically nucleate the moisture. So if people don't consider that, how can it be snowing there when temperatures were recently quite high? In fact, Montana was almost 100 degrees only 2 weeks ago. 100. How could it be snowing now? It's still 100 in Northern California, still 100. And people need to look at the bigger picture and not be confused by an engineered weather event with chemical ice nucleation. I challenge people to search engineered snowstorms. See what you see. See the lab tests that we've shown what chemical ice nucleating agents can do to a vessel of water. Can freeze it instantly. There's patents on this. We've posted patents. We've shown the lab tests. For those that don't think this is possible, you simply haven't done your research. And people need to understand there's nothing left untouched and untainted and uncontaminated at this point. The atmosphere is a big physics lab for the climate engineers, and we're all a part of the experiment. And the consequences are total. You ask if we're past the point of any return, we're through the guardrail, no question. We're going to the bottom of the canyon. If we're to salvage anything, people have to get off the bench and help us to sound the alarm. And how do you do that? How do you sound the alarm? People need to, again, get credible data. We have on Geoengineering Watch, we don't sell anything, by the way. We're non-political. We're just simply a resource tool. There's prepackaged email letters that you can send to agencies, individuals, organizations with an intro letter, credible links to credible data. Help us start spot fires of awareness. We have to get this issue to light. And if we did, Vincent, there would be a shockwave around the globe immediately. Every person on the planet's been irreparably harmed. If we could bring this to light, it would overturn the power structure, and they know it. This is the biggest issue of all. We all need to work together on this one, or nothing will matter.
Well, if we bring this right down to the wallet, I was talking with a claims adjuster for our farm, and I said we had the roof blow off two of our farms, steel roof, blew off two sections. Multiple sections on each of two barns. And I said, and by the way, how come our farm insurance policy doubled? He said, oh, well, that's because of Joplin, a few years ago. And I said, I don't live in Joplin. I'm like 100 miles away. What do you mean Joplin? And he said, well, there were claims there and they were really substantial, and so you have to pay for it. Okay, so here's the point. The point is that in the Carolinas, we had 1,000-year flood. 1,000-year flood. Wouldn't you say that was geoengineering, Dane?
I would encourage people to go to geoengineeringwatch.org and look into the recent column. It's maybe a 6-7 day old post where I posted the precipitation modeling that showed something that you don't need to know anything about meteorology to see exactly how engineered that event was. I challenge people, look at that data and try to comprehend why we have 1,000-year flood on the East Coast and 1,200-year drought on the West Coast. The system is being completely manipulated. And for those that don't believe it, you simply haven't looked, simply haven't done any research. People have the normalcy bias, Vincent, and they just can't break that filter, that paradigm that would allow them to see what's really going on. And they're going to break it one way or the other soon because the current paradigm is collapsing. But the normalcy bias is unfortunately epidemic in our world and our country. And if people would search out some of this data that we're speaking about, they would find out just how severe our situation is and break the notion that things are just going to keep chugging along, because they're not. And if we don't act now, while we still have a way to communicate with internet and we still have a way to reach our military brothers and sisters who are being used as weapons against their own population at this point, we have to wake them up. We need them on our side, period.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what I'm saying, Dane, is that if you just want to look at, each of us look at just our wallet, we're paying more for homeowners insurance and more for farm owners insurance and more for insurance because of these catastrophes. And if these catastrophes are engineered, if we're all selfish, we say, hey, we don't want to pay anymore. How about just, even if that's all it takes to get us motivated, that'd be kind of nice. So just look at your own wallet. Look at what it's costing you. And maybe you'll say enough's enough. But I think it has to be local. I think that, Washington DC is lost. I think what it's going to take is us, visiting our representatives, our local representatives, going to their homes, saying, hi, I'm glad you're home because 70 of us here want to talk to you. And really, I think that's what it's going to take. I think it's going to take going to church, not for a religious experience specifically, but going to the church where these representatives appear every once in a while to indicate that they are religious in some respect, and go and just stop the mass, stop the service, and just surround these guys and say, hey, while you're sitting here, we want to talk to you. We want you to stop this. And this immunity from prosecution, it's not going to work. Actually, Dane, I really think that what's going to happen is somebody is going to lose his temper and start taking the law into his own hands. I think vigilante justice, when enough people have children born with autism, when enough cancers reach the neighborhood, and Alzheimer's takes out parents, I think some are going to lose their tempers. I think that's what it's going to take as well.
Let's put some math behind what you mentioned. I'm sorry.
What was that?
I was going to say, let's put some math behind, the discussion of Alzheimer's, dementia, and autism.
Let's do it.
1 in 3 seniors in the U.S. now dies, to back up what you said earlier, Vincent, 1 in 3 seniors now dies with Alzheimer's and or dementia. Not from it, but with it. Latest stats from MIT, in less than 10 years, 1 out of 2 children will have autism. Now, don't let that statistic fool you, because on this current trajectory, our paradigm will disappear long before 10 years are up. That's how severe our situation is right now. If you can be in a car going 100 miles an hour thinking everything's fine. If you're 10 feet from impact, that feeling that everything's okay is not going to last long. And that's exactly what we face. In regards to those church leaders, and I've met with many of them who say this, it's all in big hands. We don't need to worry about it. That's
what?
Absolutely wrong. Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Wow. Okay, let's talk some more about this when we get back. Imagine raising an autistic child, and as you get older, you say, wow, I wonder how many years I have left. What's going to happen to our child? What's going to happen? What is going to happen? We've got to stop it now. We'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
Patriotnecklace.com?
Patriotnecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from patriotnecklace.com.
Did you know that select musical tones have the power to heal? By listening to 7 amazing songs that contain these tones, you can experience the power of music therapy.
I used to work in a pretty stressful atmosphere, but I started using the whole tones in the office, and I'm experiencing more focus, motivation, peace, and better relationships.
WholeTones99.com is a unique music therapy program featuring 7 secret ancient healing frequencies uncovered in the music of King David. Now you too can unlock the healing secrets of the Bible, as we are offering a free sample of this music so that you can discover their power to heal, relieve stress, and break negative cycles.
I use the tones to calm my 5, 3, and 2-year-olds to stop the fighting, and it works.
Now you can experience the healing music therapy in the comfort of your own home or office. Visit WholeTones99.com and get a free song. Visit WHOLETones99.com today for your free song. That's WholeTones99.com. WholeTones99.com.
My name's Clyde, age 59, and I reside in Florence, South Carolina. The doctors diagnosed me as having clogged arteries. Felt like I was carrying heavy concrete blocks around my feet and legs. I started taking Heart and Body Extract as directed. It is less than 3 weeks, and I'm like a young man again. It's unbelievable that an herbal formula can work so fast and so powerfully.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day, and the home security industry wants you to believe that's your only option. They've got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts. You get stuck writing huge checks month after month with no way out. It's robbery by contract, and it can cost you thousands. But there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts. None. You'll get award-winning 24/7 protection. Security professionals watching over your home, ready to instantly send police to the rescue for just $14.99 per month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Protect your home the smart way. Visit simplysafedefense.com today for an exclusive 10% offer and get a free keychain remote worth $25. Only when you go to simplysafedefense.com. simplysafedefense.com.
This is Dan Pillett. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Class, Dane Wigington's with us. geoengineeringwatch.org. geoengineeringwatch.org. Link to Dane's website on usaprepares.com, the instructors tab. And Dane, I just want to thank you publicly for all of the effort that you are expending, the time, the money. This is a passion for you. It's because you feel that, I believe this is because you feel that this is so critical that we need to stop the genocide, the perishing of everything on earth as a result of our own ignorance, stupidity, individual greed, carelessness, callousness. Is that right?
It's actually omnicide would be the term that we really apply here, and it's the systematic destruction of all life. And as we said before the break, and these from religious leaders to environmental groups, for example, who all want to ignore this issue. One, in the spiritual institutions, there is no tradition on the planet that says it's okay just to sit on your backside on the bench and do nothing. No scripture says that with any tradition. So, as you correctly stated, the congregation needs to hold the leader of that institution accountable, that this is our responsibility to protect creation, period. And the same with the environmental groups, Vincent, who are horribly apathetic. They want to protect their 501c3, so they pretend this isn't going on. They need to be held accountable. And with those elected officials that you mentioned earlier, what needs to be said to them is the public is waking up to this issue. And Mr. Elected Official, Mrs. Elected Official, the public will hold you accountable as an accomplice in this crime if you are lying to protect your paycheck and pension. We have people in agencies doing the same, and this needs to be pointed out to them. Hopefully we will end up with Nuremberg-type trials to put all those who participated in the crime, which means helping to cover it up, still participating. They need to be held accountable. We're in a fight for life, period. This is not an exaggeration. The material they are spraying is in our food, it's in our air, and it's flowing through our veins right now. Lab tests prove this. This is how much material that is raining down on us, enough to change soil pHs radically. It's killing everything. We either deal with this or it's game over. It's that simple.
Tom in Baltimore, you're on with Dane Wigington. Welcome.
I wanted to thank you for having such a knowledgeable guest on. I've been sick for a number of years since my retirement, pretty much homebound. I live off the radio shows, and I'm always disappointed when it comes to people who claim to be experts in climate change and something very easy to find, the methane release, they never bring up because they never really looked for it. And I just wanted to say, you're one of just two people in the past several years that actually knew what he was talking about. And I wanted to point out one thing and see what you thought about it. Dr. Catherine Albrecht had brought up one day, she wondered about the graven image in the Ten Commandments. And properly translated, it's not, thou shalt not make any graven image of me, God, but thou shalt not make any graven image. So I'm thinking if we would have stuck to those Ten Commandments, we wouldn't have been making all of this junk that's destroying the atmosphere. Plus, and I'll leave you with this, we have to bear some responsibility because it's like parents leaving their kids to run amok in a house. We left the building. And so we bear some responsibility for not following the rules that we knew from the first place that our parents told us, here's the book. And we didn't read it. Most of us, I for one didn't. Not until it was too late. So maybe future generations will benefit from your work, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And I couldn't agree more. I absolutely, we as a population need to understand we have a responsibility to turn the direction of the ship at this point. We need to get off the bench. We need to get involved. We're obligated. It's not an option. It's an obligation for all of us. Obligation to our children, obligation to the planet on which we live, obligation to life. I'm with you completely, caller. Thank you.
Dane, you talked about the Nuremberg trials, and we can't, at some point, we can't wait for the government to begin the trials. I have a feeling it's going to have to be we, the villagers, who begin these trials. And I have a feeling that, if a company would start manufacturing stocks, where you put your head and your arms in there and you spend a few weeks in the hot sun, I think they'd be really good for, it'd be good business, a nice business to start. And we could start putting our politicians who lie, cheat, steal, obfuscate, and confuse us, and those, obviously, who are killing us with immunity and impunity. Dane, I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for your hard work, your tireless work, and let's do it again.
The team effort, Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked, hour number 2 of USAPreparedness.com. I'm delighted to be broadcasting with Dr. Millie Hinkle and CamelMilkUSA.com. CamelMilkUSA.com. We're going to be talking about camels, and I am really interested in buying 2 camels. Seriously, for the farm. And I'm willing to trade some cows, sell some cows, and use those funds to buy some camels. Welcome, Dr. Millie Hinkle.
Thank you. Good morning.
And it's all your fault. It's all your fault.
Well,
and,
let's see if I can educate you a little bit about them.
That sounds great. Let's talk about why would anyone want a camel? And here's what's happening. There are a number of our class throughout the world who are thinking, why would Vincent Finelli want to buy some camels? And there are a number of people who diabetes is an epidemic, right? And it's projected to get even worse. So if we can reduce our insulin dependence by consuming camel milk, why would we not want to do that? I mean, going forward, how how much are we dependent as diabetics? I'm not one, but if I were, how much would we be dependent on the supply chain? I think that we'd be completely dependent on the supply chain. Is that right?
That's true. Camel milk is so high in insulin. There's 52 units in each quart or liter of insulin. And the situation is with most insulin drugs, especially the oral drugs, tremendous amount of those are destroyed by the acid in the stomach. Camel milk thrives in that environment and therefore is fantastic for getting that insulin into these patients without all the side effects of those drugs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now, are there any downsides, any complications to camel milk?
There are none, unless you have an actual casein allergy. About 80% of people with a casein allergy are still able to drink the camel milk, mainly because a camel milk is not the same casein as goat or cow. So many people with true dairy allergies are able to drink that. There's about 15% that are not able to drink it. But camel milk has been amazing across the board for so many illnesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What illnesses would we want to treat with camel milk?
You know, honestly, Vincent, when I talk about it, it almost sounds like she's just promoting this product that just does everything. It can't be possible. And even myself in the beginning felt the same way. How can this one thing from this beautiful animal do all of this? It really has to do with the antibodies in that animal and the size of those antibodies. That type antibody's not been found in another plant or animal. So that antibody has the ability to literally penetrate a cell, which other antibodies like cow or goat do not have. The high fats in it, it's got antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal properties. The studies with cancer, there have been over 600 studies around the world with cancer. Every one of those turned out with positive results. It has been amazing. It's been used for treatment of liver disease for thousands of years, and there have been major studies with that. And it's high in amino acids, so it helps repair damaged cells. We have a tremendous amount of patients with gut issues such as Crohn's and celiac that drink that milk that are doing amazingly well as tens of thousands of autistic children around the world. It's just an amazing animal, and what they produce is amazing. And it's not just, and I talk with people setting up dairies, I said it's not just the milk. There's a demand for the urine. There's a demand for the feces, for fertilizer, because some countries, even that is desired over regular fertilizer. In fact, in India, they actually let people bring their camels onto their land just so that they can get that dung as a fertilizer because it's so rich.
You know, it's interesting that you're talking about that because our son is attending university. He'll be graduating in a couple months. With a degree in agricultural science and animal science. And so for the first time, we're going to have the good fortune of having someone who is degreed in farming here at our family farm. Mm. And we're going to apply scientific principles to the farm. And one of the things that we want to do is grow the best crops to feed our cows. Not only grass, but crops to feed our cows so that they will be as healthy as can be. And we want to have the best manure, the best urine on our farm. And we think that supplementing with camels and goats and llamas and alpacas might do exactly what we need. So I'm really excited about buying some camels. But, you know, for those who are allergic to sticker shock.
Yes. Well, in 2009, when I had the laws changed to allow for the sale of camel milk and to allow for camel dairies to be set up, the price of a camel was about $4,500 to $5,000. Now you can pay up to $20,000 for a camel. So the average price is about $15,000. So the price has really skyrocketed. The good thing about that, though, is the price of the milk is so expensive that the dairies usually make back or pay for that camel in a couple of months.
Yeah, and so how expensive is camel milk, just roughly?
Directly from a dairy, you can get it for about $10 a pint, but if you're buying it in a store, it runs up to $25 for a pint, which is a 16-ounce bottle, so it's pretty expensive. But these dairies are definitely selling it, and in the wintertime, we cannot meet the demand that it is so high.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like to, once you find that camel, and there are a lot of things that you need to think about in selecting a camel, and let's talk about that in a couple minutes. But
well,
what's
yes,
it like?
And Vincent, I caution people that are looking to start a dairy, be careful, know what you're doing, because even people in the camel industry have been taken advantage of. A lot of camel are sterile, and even the people that own them do not know that. Please don't buy a camel that's a baby unless you want to just raise them for 4 years or longer before you breed them, because it's going to take that long before them to reach maturity, before you can even breed them, and then it's going to be a gestation period of about 13 to 15 months. So you're looking at a long time period, so we want to warn people about that. And I do caution people that go to these auctions and they'll see one camel. If there's one camel, there's about a 95% chance there's the reason that camel's being sold. If it's an estate sale and a group of camels, not such a big deal, but just one camel, I would be careful. If a farmer tells you the camel has been bred, I would say check with a vet and have a progesterone level and an ultrasound done, because many people have bought camels with the promise that they've been bred, and they have not been. So I would caution people to know what they're looking for, and it's better to get a camel that's going to be about 8 to 10 years old, because the first camel baby, obviously the mother camel is not going to give as much milk as a camel that has been giving milk over time. What happened when I had the laws changed in the United States is that we had never milked the camel, and the people that owned them had a practice, which I am totally opposed to, of pulling the babies. So the babies would be a few days old, and they would take them away from their mothers and put them on a bottle so they could sell them. So the mother was in agony, obviously, with all that milk and no way to get rid of it. So what happens over time when you have a couple of babies like that, you automatically don't give milk anymore. So we had to start training the mother camels to start giving milk again. So that was a learning curve. So there are a lot of interesting things. Australia is the only place we can import camel from, and they have to round them up in the wild, and they literally cannot just put a wild camel and ship them over here. They literally have to put them in quarantine and train them and get them adjusted, because they cannot give milk, I understand from the veterinarians, up to 8 years before they'll give milk if you're not handling them properly. So there is a learning curve to this.
Now, when you talk about an 8 to 12-year-old camel, some of us are probably thinking, wow, how long do these camels live? But they live a long time.
They can live to be pretty old. They live to be about 40-some years old. Some have been known to live up to 48 years old. So, you can milk a camel probably up until her early 20s and get a good supply of milk. So if you've got a camel that was 8 or even 10 years old, you've got a good 10, maybe even 15 years of milking from that camel. So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And what about the government? How interested is the government? If I get camels and I start a dairy, and I'm interested in selling camel milk just within the state of Missouri, how interested is the government going to be in visiting me?
Honestly, they're not going to be too interested. They really look at this as a cottage industry. It's becoming larger and larger, and if you want to be a grade A dairy, that means you're going to have to meet the standards of the state and the local government and the FDA. But to have a small dairy and to sell that milk within your state, each state in the United States has different rules and regulations concerning the sale of that milk. Some states allow you to sell it raw. Some require you to have a share program. Some make you have it pasteurized. So each state is different. I believe the state of Missouri, it's okay to sell raw milk, if I can remember correctly. So you're fine there. We do have people that ship it all over the United States in a raw form, and of course that's not legal, but the FDA has not stopped in and done anything, and they are aware of it. But I think they realize that it's such a small industry. that at this time it would take a lot of manpower and money to enforce that, and I think that's what we're looking at. But there is a demand across this country for that milk.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really excited about it for a lot of reasons. I'm excited about it for the health aspect. I'm excited to help people get away from the pharmacomafia, as Dr. Norman Shealy refers to it, the pharmacomafia, and get back to nature. And I think, if you look at obesity, if you look at the illnesses, if you look at all these bad things that are happening to people, that are shortening their lifespans, I think if more of us pay attention to the natural way, we'd be a lot better off. Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us, ND, and we'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then, too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to $downfall.com. Again, that's $downfall.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS? Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely. We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Class, Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us, and her website is camelmilkusa.com. Camelmilkusa.com. Dr. Hinkle, what's it like living with a camel?
Well, they're lovely animals. People say camels spit. No, camels don't spit. Llama and alpaca can spit. Camels are very loyal, highly intelligent, loving animals. You can't just buy one camel. Let me warn your audience, they will literally grieve themselves to death. You've got to buy a minimum of 2 camels to keep each other company. But they're great animals. Their noses are so soft. They are very human-oriented, and they're lovely to work with. We really do have some lovely camel in this country, and we'd love to have more. We need to increase the camel population here because we only have about 3,500. There have been some studies that have said we have 5,000. We really don't. We probably have much less than that are milkable because some of them are old, some of them are young, some of them are males. So we need more camel. And the only country we can allow to get those camel from are Australia. And people ask me, well, why can't we get them from the Middle East? And we would love to because they have such amazing camel there. But we're not allowed to get camel from countries that have hoof and mouth disease. Now, camels do not get hoof and mouth disease, but there's a possibility it could be carried in on their feet, etc. So we're not allowed to import them except from Australia, and the expense of that is really high. So we're having a group that's looking at bringing in several thousand of those camel over the next 5 years into the United States. So we'll hope that will increase the population, and we're waiting to see how that group is doing. They've set up in Australia already, and I have been working with them to bring this camel in. So we're excited about it. We're excited about this animal and all the medical research that's going on in this country and around the world with this animal. It is amazing, and now standard medicine is looking at this animal and the antibodies in this animal's milk and the antibodies in the urine. And there have been some amazing studies done here with that. So I know that your listeners just should read more on it. They'll be so excited to learn all the things. If you've got an illness, I would suggest you just Google that illness and camel milk, and you will see the amazing things that have been done, from diabetes to Crohn's disease to cancer, even as a beauty product, because that milk is extremely high in alpha-hydroxy acid, which reduces wrinkles. So we have a lot of companies from around the world that contact me wanting the milk for cosmetics. There's going to be a big demand for that. We do not have enough milk in this country to give extra money, or extra milk actually, for cosmetics. We just don't. So we're drinking all we can make. And we have people now looking at developing other products with that milk. I've actually developed a milk for diabetics, and we're looking forward to getting that produced, and we're looking for investors to take that forward. So we're looking for a great future here with that milk, and I'll give you a couple of testimonials that I'll take. First diabetes. We've had patients that have type 1 as well as type 2, and the studies have been done that even with type 1, it reduces their insulin levels tremendously, so they're not having to take as many injections if they're on injectables. Many of the type 2 are off all medications after being on the camel's milk. So we're just thrilled with that, and we've had so many cancer patients that have come here to my office even that no longer have cancer. It's been amazing. And the great thing about camel milk for anybody who has cancer or has a loved one that has cancer, the great thing about camel milk is that it helps with those negative side effects of chemo and radiation. It helps with the nausea and the free radical damage from chemo. There's been an amazing study recently done here in the United States where they took chemotherapy drugs and piggybacked it with the camel antibodies, and it took that chemotherapy drug directly to that cell and destroyed that cell and did not touch any other cell. So I always encourage my cancer patients to drink camel milk if they can. It's going to help them through that. We've had a couple of patients who were told they were going to lose their hair, and they did not. They were on camel milk the whole time, and they did not lose their hair through those treatments of cancer. It's amazing. We're seeing amazing studies with thyroid cancer because the camel milk is very high in thyroxine, which the thyroid needs to operate properly. There's been amazing studies done around the world with colon cancer, and there was a study done in Belgium, and they took 100 rats and induced colon cancer, and after 30 days, there was not one trace of cancer in any of those rats. So those are the kind of studies we're looking at. This animal is absolutely a gift from God, where the people want to go that route or not. It is. We have been given this gift, and we need to look at it and use it and really appreciate this beautiful animal and what they have to give us.
We'll be right back. Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us. CamelMilkUSA.com.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at PatriotNecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
My name is Dell, and I live in El Cajon, California. I was concerned about my cholesterol readings because I knew that high cholesterol is related to clogging of the arteries and increases the risk for heart attack and stroke. One day, I heard an ad for Heart and Body Extract, and I was skeptical, but I decided to give it a try. Man, the numbers don't lie.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor period, with packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water purification kit for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Come and take it.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then, too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to $downfall.com. Again, that's $downfall.com.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Did you know that select musical tones have the power to heal? By listening to 7 amazing songs that contain these tones, you can experience the power of music therapy.
I used to work in a pretty stressful atmosphere, but I started using the whole tones in the office, and I'm experiencing more focus, motivation, peace, and better relationships.
WholeTones99.com is a unique music therapy program featuring 7 secret ancient healing frequencies uncovered in the music of King David. Now you too can unlock the healing secrets of the Bible, as we are offering a free sample of this music so that you can discover their power to heal, relieve stress, and break negative cycles.
I use the tones to calm my 5, 3, and 2-year-olds to stop the fighting, and it works.
Now you can experience the healing music therapy in the comfort of your own home or office. Visit WholeTones99.com and get a free song. Visit WHOLETones99.com today for your free song. That's WholeTones99.com. WholeTones99.com.
Class, Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us, and we're talking about camels, and I'm extremely interested in bringing camels to our farm here in Missouri. Mike from Tennessee, Mike Parsons is joining us. Welcome, Mike.
Good morning. Just a quick question. Have you ever heard of the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund?
I have. And that is, that's a lot of some of our camel dairies actually, I think, contacted or were contacted by that group in the beginning when they were worried about some of the laws and worrying if the FDA was going to be a problem.
I noticed that on realmilk.com there's a good description for people that want to list their farms and people that don't want to list their farms, because they realize the FDA, USDA will utilize these databases to go after people. And the reality is there's a lot of people that are interested in getting into camels and other types of natural milk for their families, and you can define family any way that you like. But the reality is that they don't want to be under the auspices or control or scrutiny of the government, so they tend to be under the radar. And so in such an investment of this magnitude for the average farmer is exorbitant and cost prohibitive, but the potential benefits are such that they would lead people to try to find a way to do this. And so I'm wondering if there's a way to formulate a family structure so that people within their family can purchase through, however you want to call it, shares or cooperatives or whatever. People that already have camels might say, okay, we're going to put a couple of camels on your property. You've got the land. You've got the ability to take care of them. You raise them up, take care of them, produce the milk, and we get a percentage of some type of an arrangement so that not only is it beneficial to the person with the camels, but it allows them to put more of their camels into operation if they don't have the ability to maintain as large a herd as they might have.
Well, I think I can speak a little bit on that because I have been under the radar eye, actually, of the FDA since this first started. In fact, they threatened to throw me in prison if I did anything illegal. So a couple of the dairies set up what is called a share program. That's not legal, and it's literally if you want to sell raw milk across the state line to say, pay me some money and it'll be legal. It's truly not. And the FDA is getting ready to go after a couple of those dairies that are advertising that. The dairies have had no problem with the government in any form that are just selling that milk, whether it's across state lines or within their state. We just have not, and I've talked to several FDA officials, and the comment that I get back from the FDA is, this is an industry that's new. We want this industry here in the United States, and it's a cottage industry, and we really don't look at that as we would a big industry like cow milk, that where there's tens of thousands of gallons being shipped. So I understand what you're saying, and I think it's a great idea, and I think it has to be approached the correct way, but I will encourage people that we really have had no problem with government officials on these dairies, and several of them have been visited by government officials, and nothing has been charged or put against any dairy. So I think even the government, when I had the law change, wanted and went out of their way to help make this a possibility, and that was the first time I was amazed that happened. So I hear what you're saying, and I think that's something that people might want to look into. But I would also encourage them not to be afraid to set up a dairy, because we just have had no legal problems at this point in time. Now, I'm sure if a child got ill, that might be different. Sorry?
Has there been any problem with the Lacey Act being applied, which is where they prohibit the transfer of plants and animals from one state to the other under federal? It had to do with racketeering and drugs, but they're applying it towards people with pets and animals.
Well, anytime you take an animal, a camel, or any, especially a livestock animal, I would think, because I do have some of the dairies are in, exotic animal production and sales. So they have to have paperwork to transfer those animals, and that is just a standard thing that's been there for years. It's not anything new, and there's been no problem with that. And we have people that buy a camel and transport them from one state to another, obviously, and there's been no problem. The shipping, the only problem that people worry about is the shipping of the milk if it's raw. These dairies have been shipping the milk since day one, and there's not been a problem. The FDA has been well aware of it, and we have not had a problem. You can get the milk here in the United States pasteurized or raw. Either way, most dairies are going to have it either way. I like dairies that are grade A dairies because I know that they're going to have all their milk tested on a regular basis, and so that's why I worry about people that might not be testing their milk properly if they're not aware of all the tests they need to go. And I did develop a test kit that was required by the government to test for antibiotic residue because we do not give camels antibiotics, and there are just certain things we don't give them. And we want to make sure that that's not in that milk. We want to make sure that you don't have a sick camel and give it antibiotics and then milk that camel and sell that milk to the public. We wouldn't want that to happen. Other than that, that's the only thing that I formed a coalition, and we asked that all the farmers present me with paperwork proving that their camels have been tested for tuberculosis and brucellosis each year. And we've set up a pedigree program so we know we're not interbreeding as much as we have been in the past. So there are things that we've tried to do within the community to look out for this. And we, even from day one, the dairies, literally people that had camel didn't know they could milk them. And so I had to actually talk to them about the best way to do that, how to handle them, what they should expect. And it was so funny in the beginning, some of them put the milk in plastic bags. So we've come a long way in the last 6 years. They're in beautiful bottles, just like any other milk, and some of these dairies are absolutely gorgeous. They're state of the art with the facilities at some of these dairies. So even the small dairies with only 2 camel are doing amazingly well, and that's how the first dairy started in the United States. It was only 2 camel, and the demand got so large, even within a month, that he had to buy camel after camel after camel just to keep up the demand. So it is an interesting and amazing business right now, and there's so much further it has to grow, and we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg with this industry.
I like the fact, Dr. Hinkle, that just a small herd can work for a small farm rather than having hundreds and hundreds of cows. And we only have 100 cows here at our farm, and that's plenty. I mean, it's not easy to manage 100. And I'm thinking, what would it be like if we had a dairy with 100? Boy, that'd be a massive undertaking. But with the camel milk that I'm imagining that we would have, this is manageable.
It's amazing. We've actually had cow dairies that have actually gotten rid of their cows and gone into the camel. We've had horse breeders down in Ocala, Florida, that have sold off their horses and started with trying to buy a camel. We had an interesting call from a veterinarian out in Washington State who had over 2,000 llamas who wanted to unload those and start with camel. And the thing of it is, the llama and the alpaca are in the same family as the camel, so you're going to have the same type antibodies. But if you're trying to milk them, you're going to have a long, hard road to hoe, because you literally have to milk them with a small 5 cc syringe. And who's going to have time to tape a syringe around an udder and milk it every day? You're not going to get, you might be lucky if you get 8 ounces a day from those animals, where the camel are going to give you 5, 10, 15 quarts a day. So that's a big difference.
What requirements would would we have to raise camel? For example, rain, sleet, snow, freezing cold, heat. What kind of a facility would we need?
Well, we have camel everywhere. We have camel in Russia even, where it's cold, and Mongolia. So, we've actually had a couple of people in Canada that have contacted me and come into the United States and bought camel to raise in Canada. And all they've got to have when it snows, they've got to have shelter, an enclosed barn, not just a shed, for those camel to be in. Camel were in North America before they were ever anywhere else in the world, before the continent separated. So they're used to it. If you have a climate where it's really muggy and high humidity, you want to make sure you're not having a problem with flies and things like that. But camels love heat, and they love snow. You just have to be careful with the snow if it's ice, because their legs are very tall and thin and fragile. And if they fall, they easily can break a leg. So you want to be careful with that. But they're fine to have in really cold states. We have lots of dairies. We have at least 3 or 4 in Colorado alone. So that's the volume of snow there during the winter, and those camels are thriving. So they're pretty much adaptable to anywhere.
Did we lose Dr. Hinkle?
No, we're right here. I think somebody was trying to call.
Okay.
What about rocky soil? I know Vincent didn't mention this, but he has very rocky soil. How do their feet?
Well, a lot of camel around the world are used for trekking, and they have flat feet that are soft. So the reason they live, the great thing about them in the sand is other animals like a horse or a cow's hoofs would sink into the sand where camels don't. So you see camels in Afghanistan and Iraq, and there's a lot of rocky soil, rocky mountains there, and they do very well. So that's not a problem. There are a lot of people that use camel for caravans that go and camping that use them, and they go up into the mountains. They do quite well now as climbing a mountain. If you were talking about something, a sharp mounting like you would see a mountain goat on, I'm not sure about that. But the average camel on rocky soil is going to be fine.
Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us. Mike Parsons from Tennessee is with us. And we're talking about camels. Mike, feel free to stay with us through this break. And let's talk about fencing. So we want to get some camels, and we've decided that we've been to the zoo, and we've hung out with them, and we like them. What do we need to protect and take care of our camels? We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Nussbaum with the Anthem Foundation. Premature birth is the leading cause of death of babies and disabilities for children. That's why we support the March of Dimes to help mothers have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. Join us in supporting cutting-edge research, treatment and outreach to help moms during their pregnancy and give every baby a healthy start in life. Learn how you can help at marchofdimes.org.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levan, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hard-working men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218-HELP.
Hey, Berkey Guy here. Are you still drinking unfiltered tap water? Does your water contain chlorine or fluoride? Will you have drinkable water in an emergency? The Berkey Guy is here to help you remove these and other potential contaminants from your water, thus helping you drink clean, purified water. We offer Berkey water purification systems at the lowest available prices online. Don't go another moment without a Berkey system. Over the last 10 years, we've helped thousands drink clean, purified water. Join them by visiting goberkey.com or call me, the Berkey Guy, at 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Class, Dr. Millie Hinkle's with us, and if you'd like to go to her website, camelmilkusa.com, camelmilkusa.com, and if you're interested in pursuing purchasing and raising camels, or learning about camel milk and the benefits, camelmilkusa.com. Dr. Hinkle, what equipment would I need? What equipment would I need to start raising camels? Fencing?
Well, that's a great question. Obviously, they do well with other animals. So a lot of the big spreads of land where they are, especially out in Oklahoma, they're mixed in with the cows. The cows were on one side of the big piece of land, and the camels were on the other. They sort of ignored each other. Goats are mixed in. Donkeys are mixed in. That's not a problem. The problem is you've got to have a little bit taller fencing and make sure that it's very sturdy, because these camel are tall and they've got long necks. So, the grass is always greener on the other side. So they, will always want to reach their head over the fence and see the grass on the other side and try to get to that. If you don't have some type of electrification across the top of that, or if you don't, in Australia, some of the big dairies, and farms have millions of dollars worth of fencing, which is all steel across the top, which is very expensive. So you just want to make sure that your fences are a little bit higher than you would have, say, for a cow or a horse. That's one of the things. The food's got to be a little bit different than a cow or goat. They can't have regular hay. They've got to have grass hay. They do eat alfalfa, pellets, and things like that. You want to make sure their diet has enough selenium in it. Camels have a big desire for selenium. They will not reproduce properly. and they do not thrive properly, and they will not give milk properly if they don't have enough selenium. So you want to make sure they've got things like peanuts in their diet. Some of our guys put sunflower seeds, molasses, things like that in their diet. The one thing that I was emphatic about with all of the dairies, absolutely no soy, because most feed in the United States has soy in it. Absolutely no soy allowed. And the reason for that is soy actually suppresses thyroxine levels, and camels produce high levels of thyroxine, which is for the thyroid health. Also, camels need progesterone to reproduce. Soy suppresses progesterone and raises estrogen levels. So we don't want soy in their diet. And these camels have done great. I had an email from a farmer yesterday in Mississippi saying, I just bought a camel, I'm starting my dairy, I need to get the milk production up. So one of the interesting things is these camels love junk food. They're just like all these kids out here. They love junk food. So if you've got a great contract with a grocery store near you that's throwing out peaches and apples and things like that, chop those up and mix them in with their food. They love it. It actually increases milk production. Some of the dairies in the Middle East actually told me that they give them things like that. So, and even bread and things that you wouldn't think from discarded bread that you would not think normally you would give these animals. They like it. It produces the milk. That's up to you what you want to feed them, but there is a special feed for camel, and if you're starting a dairy, contact me and we'll put you in touch with some of the people around the country that have got the right kind of feed for these animals. Then if you're going to decide to milk it, you want to get just a simple little milking machine. You don't need a big involved one. They're pretty simple. You can milk a camel in a few minutes and turn them out and bring another one in. You're going to need stands built so that these camel can be in those stands, because the baby now, let me tell you, audience, this is very interesting because you can't just milk a camel like you can a cow or a goat. If the baby dies, you will get no milk from the mother camel. It dries up instantly. Whereas if a cow baby dies, you still got the cow to milk. You cannot do that with a camel. So you want to make sure that baby is healthy here in the United States. There has been a high mortality rate. I've gotten that way down. So that's a great thing. So you want to feed that camel and have her baby has to literally be attached to an udder before her milk will be released. And once that milk starts being released, then you will hook up the milking machine. Interesting fact.
Very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to learning more about this and bringing camels to the farm. Dr. Millie Hinkle, thank you so much for all the work you've done to make it possible for farmers to have camel.
Thank you. It's been
a
pleasure. It's been a journey. It's been an education, and I would encourage anyone to look into this, especially if you're...
By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
My name is Bill Bonner, and I'm the president of the largest private news and research network in the world. And I paid for this airtime because I have an important message to the American people. There's a change coming that the government isn't telling you about. This change has deep implications for life in America, from where you shop to the doctors you visit and the family you want to protect. Look, I've made predictions like this before. Thing is, I was right then too. A few years ago, I warned that housing prices would collapse. They did. Before that, I warned that .com companies would crash. They did. Those who listened had a chance to save themselves. But this has nothing to do with the stock market. This will affect us all.
You can watch the video for free right now by going to dollardownfall.com. Again, that's dollardownfall.com.